Coming up on Newswatch, candidates running for Nelsonville City Council take questions from voters.
Plus, the latest on the conflict in the Middle East.
And in sports, Nelsonville York travels to Alexander with a conference championship at stake. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Silver Barker. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio.
The League of Women's Voters of Athens County are hosting two forums tonight, the Federal Hocking School Board Forum at Federal Hocking High School and the Nelsonville City Council Forum. Newswatch reporter Haley Hollinger joins us live from Nelsonville Forum featuring candidates running for City Council. Haley, what can voters expect to hear from the candidates tonight?
Thanks, Reese. Voters will hear from 4 of the 6 candidates running for seats on council. There are currently 3 seats open on council, each with a 4-year term. The 6 candidates, Justin Booth, Tony Dunphy, Doug Childs, Dan Sherman, Nancy Sonic, and Rita Wynn. Everyone but Booth and Sonic is here tonight. Booth, Childs, and Dunphy are asking voters to send them to council as a group, and so are Wynn, Sherman, and Sonic. Voters can expect many city issues discussed in the past few months to be covered at tonight's forum, such as the state of the city charter and the enforcement of Nelsonville's rental code. We'll keep you updated as Election Day approaches in the city of Nelsonville. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Haley Hollinger in Nelsonville.
Thanks, Haley. Today is the last day to register to vote in Ohio for the November 7th election. You can check if you're registered to vote by visiting the website on your screen or by calling your county's Board of Elections. Starting tomorrow, voters across the state will decide on 2 issues. State Issue 1 is a proposed constitutional amendment on abortion and other reproductive rights. And State Issue 2, which would legalize, regulate, and commercialize recreational marijuana for Ohioans over the age of 21. Early voting officially begins tomorrow. To vote early, you can visit your county's early vote center or request a ballot by mail. Absentee ballot applications must be received by boards of elections by October 31st, and the deadline for absentee ballots is Election Day, November 7th. One Ohio city is no longer voting on whether to ban drag queen performances. The Ohio Supreme Court unanimously ruled Sunday to scrap the proposed drag ban from the ballot in Bell Fountain. The proposal would classify drag shows as adult cabaret performances and prohibit them in public spaces or anywhere viewable by a minor. The Columbus Dispatch reports petitioners changed the ballot language after circulating petitions to get voter signatures. This resulted in 5 Bell Fountain voters filing a protest with the Logan County Board of Elections, contending the filed petitions were misleading. The 5 residents then brought a lawsuit against the county board and Ohio Supreme Court, who agreed with their claims. Ohio has recorded the lowest number of child care providers in 20 years. According to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Ohio Means Job Organization in Allen County is hosting workshops to give prospective child care providers training, documents, and inspections that are required to get started. Without babysitters, parents have struggled to find people to take care of their children, especially with increases in long work hours. And Athens Conservancy Preserve is joining the Old Growth Forest Network. The Lindy Rosenberg Preserve was inducted into the OGFN last Friday. The network connects people with nature by creating a national network of protected and publicly accessible native forests. The Lindy Rosenberg Preserve is a 71-acre forest with trees that range in age from 40 years to 120 years old. The preserve joins 29 Ohio forests already in the network. We are just
days away from Ohio's fall turkey hunting season. Starting October 14th, the season bag limit allows for 1 bird of either sex. Keep in mind, fall turkey hunting is only permitted in 70 out of 88 Ohio counties. Hunters should refer to the Ohio hunting and trapping regulations for requirements. The fall turkey hunting season will take place until November 12th. In terms of the spring wild turkey season, Ohio will be split into 3 groups: statewide youth, the South Zone, and the Northeast Zone. Last spring, wild turkey hunters checked over 15,000 birds. Now, speaking of hunting season, let's go ahead and toss it over to weather to look more at how the weather is changing.
Yes, those last 24 hours, we were on that more fall-like side and we were on the cooler side. You can see here in Athens overnight, we are even reaching temperatures in those low 30s. But once we got into that sunrise throughout the day, we are getting temperatures more in those mid 60s. Looking out there right now, you can see temperatures in those lower 60s. Newark, Zanesville. If you go more north in Huntington and even Charleston, you're seeing temperatures still in those higher 60s with Parkersburg at 62. But here in Athens, we're looking at 63 degrees in those clearer skies. Looking into how that's going to be affecting us and with those temperatures, we're going to see those gusts at 23 miles per hour. That is going to be making it feel like it's on the cooler side, and we're going to be seeing how that is going to be affecting us tonight. But looking at today, again, that temperature high of 65, feeling very seasonal out there with that temperature low of 34 degrees and those partly sunny skies out there. Looking at tomorrow, we're going to be hit with this high pressure system, which is going to be giving us those clearer skies, and it's going to be feeling a lot like today. But as we go more into the week, we're going to be hit with this warm front that is going to be giving us warmer temperatures and even some rain for your weekend. So that'll be definitely something to see in my full forecast, just to see how that'll affect your weekend here in Ohio. Let's take it back to Silver.
Thank you. Ohio lawmakers are introducing a bill that could prohibit people younger than 18 from using tanning beds. Currently, state law requires individuals who are between 16 and 18 to have a consent form from a parent or legal guardian in order to use the tanning bed. The Ohio Department of Health observed in 2022 that UV radiation from the sun and artificial sources is the most important risk factor for potential skin cancer. The bill is currently awaiting its 5th hearing. Coming up on Newswatch, an update on how the overseas conflict could impact your wallet. Plus, a look at the race for the new Speaker of the House. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
And for weather here, we're going to be seeing this warm up throughout the week, but that is not the last of our warm up. And are we going to be feeling like fall finally here in Southeast Ohio? Next on Newswatch.
My people in the buffalo have a shared history together.
The buffalo was sacred, and they could not imagine existence without the buffalo.
They were put on this earth to help us survive.
To think that our greed and our industrialization would blink this thing out.
This is the buffalo's last chance.
They've survived, we've survived. We both persisted.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
Thanks to viewers like you, we've been able to tell America's stories on this PBS station. Help us continue to tell these stories now and for future generations by including this station in your charitable plans.
Supporting this PBS station through a gift of stock is easy. To find out more, call the number on your screen or visit this website. Thank you.
Often referred to in the history books in the past tense. But here we are in the present, and we're going full force.
Native women are strong and resilient.
My people in the buffalo have a shared history.
She's a warrior.
It's about representing ourselves in the way we see ourselves.
We're scientists, we're engineers, we're doctors. We're doing things to make a difference in this world.
I have memories of my real family.
Give me my daughter!
I'm going to look for them. I think I might be from here. What do you remember?
The government was taking Indian kids. You can't just pretend that nothing happened. It was wrong! Can you tell me the truth?
As deadly conflict rages between Israel and Hamas, the after effects of Hamas's weekend assaults are reverberating around the globe and here in the U.S. The violence has rattled global oil markets and sparked new urgency on Capitol Hill. Karen Kafa is in Washington with the latest.
President Joe Biden reiterating U.S. support for Israel on the fourth day of violent conflict with Hamas.
We will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens, defend itself, and respond to this attack.
The fighting sending shockwaves through global diplomatic and economic spheres. Israel sits in a region of major global oil producers, and prices have moved higher in recent days. But analysts don't foresee sustained spikes at U.S. gas pumps unless the conflict is prolonged or spreads to neighboring countries.
Most oil products are very seasonal, and we're moving into the off-season for gasoline, but we're moving into the season for diesel, jet fuel, and heating oil. And that can be very insidious for inflation.
Meanwhile, U.S. congressional response, including approval of additional aid, will be limited until a new House Speaker is elected.
No speaker, it's very hard to say how anything's going to move forward.
The small group of Republicans who voted to oust Kevin McCarthy, pushing back at those who blamed them for stalling Congress, instead pointing to the Senate.
Why aren't they already preparing something for us so that when we get back in session that we could vote for it?
Some Republicans bracing for the possibility that neither GOP candidate for Speaker, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, nor House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan can secure enough support, leaving Capitol Hill at a standstill. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
The Israeli military is responding to fire from Syria with their own artillery and mortar shelling. Israeli planes have been hitting the Gaza Strip neighborhood with attacks from warplanes on Tuesday. The area is now sealed off and is experiencing severe retaliation in the conflict. Aid groups claim that supplies are running out at hospitals that have been overwhelmed by wounded civilians. The war has claimed at least 1,900 lives on both sides and is expected to escalate.
Interim Speaker of the House Patrick McHenry is offering assurances to Israel that the U.S. Congress is standing ready to help in their war with Hamas, while conceding his powers and those of the House as a whole are limited. After he opened the House session Tuesday, McHenry said Israel is, quote, in his prayers, adding that if we need to act as a government, we will, end quote. But helping Israel means first filling the Speaker vacancy left by Kevin McCarthy, who was voted out last week. It's a process fought with internal party politics that's now being laid bare on a global stage. Laura Geary with more on what Republicans are planning in the hours ahead.
In a House divided without a Speaker, there is bipartisan agreement on one point.
The world is watching. They're seeing a dysfunctional democracy.
We're demonstrating to the world that democracy is dysfunctional.
The stakes of that dysfunction now even higher amid an escalating war in Israel.
We need to be acting right now on Israel. Instead, we're trying to figure out a new speaker, or maybe perhaps still discuss, Speaker McCarthy.
We stand strongly with Israel. The House needs to get back to work. Yes.
House Majority Leader Steve Scalise is one of two top contenders for the Speaker slot, along with House Judiciary Chair Jim Jordan, recently endorsed by former President Donald Trump, but not as confident yet that he has the votes to secure the gavel.
I've said all along we need 217, 218, whatever that number is, but we need to sell that in the conference before we go to the floor.
Whoever the conference picks, I'm going to support.
Ousted Speaker Kevin McCarthy showing support for his party's next move. While not shrugging off the option, it could be him again.
I'll allow the conference to make whatever decision. Whether I'm Speaker or not, I'm a member of this body. I can lead in any position it is.
Without a Speaker, most agree the House is legislatively paralyzed, but confidence is high among some that could change soon.
I totally expect us to have a Speaker by Wednesday. We will come out of conference united in that.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
With nobody in the Speaker position, the House is crippled, but with people prepared to fill the role, that could change very soon. All right.
And for weather, I'm Isabel. And for Athens today, we were looking at temperature high at 65 and that temperature low of 34. That is going to be affecting us going into tonight. With those mostly clear skies, that overnight low of 34, and that high pressure that is coming in, we're going to be hit with some frost advisories looking this morning. It's going to be affecting us more in the early a.m., looking at about 3 a.m. and going until about 8. So if you have any outdoor plants that need to take inside, go ahead and do that before the night gets too chilly out there. That special weather statement is still just some more frost for most of Ohio. Looking at those past 24 hours, you could see that this high pressure system and that low pressure system a little bit going into later yesterday was affecting us, giving us some of those cloudier skies. We had a few sprinkles here earlier in the weekend, but as this high pressure system is coming in, it is going to be giving us some warmer temperatures. This is it stilled now. That high pressure is going to be clearing us out in this low pressure system that is coming in. This is going to be affecting us going into this weekend. You can see that this also has attached to it a warm front. So we're going to be getting some warmer temperatures as the week goes on, but that is not starting tomorrow quite yet. That high temperature of about 67 and that low of 44, we're feeling pretty much like today going into tomorrow with those partly sunny skies, just because this high pressure system's coming in. It is clearing us out and is going to be making it beautiful here in Athens. What I am worried about is, again, this warm front. It is going to be giving us warmer temperatures, and then it's going to be followed with some rain. Looking at tomorrow and even into tomorrow night, it's kind of getting closer. We're still going to be hitting with these drier conditions first, and then we're going to be hit with these warmer conditions and some rains. Looking at Thursday, it is not entirely out of the option to get some rain for us Thursday, but mostly in northern Ohio, there's this strip that is going to be having some pretty good rainfall. But here in Athens and more southern Ohio, we're going to be looking a little bit more on the clearer side until we're looking at about Friday and Saturday for those higher chances of rain. But this is going to be giving us those warmer temperatures that I was talking about. Thursday, we're going to be looking at those temperatures, like I said, in those 70s. So it is going to be giving us those rain chances, but it's also going to be giving us some warmer temperatures first. It is going to be on the more humid side, so we're going to be looking like it's going to have some effect on our week just being on that humid side, but it's going to be warming us up. And then looking at Saturday, it is going to cool us down again. That chance of showers is going to be looming throughout the week. Starting Friday and going until about Tuesday, we're going to have that chance of showers here in Athens for a while, just because of that low pressure system that is coming in, and it's going to be sticking around for a good portion of our next week. But looking at these next few days, it is going to be pretty beautiful on Thursday with that high of 77 and those mostly sunny skies. Going to warm up, it's going to feel good, and then we're just going to go back down to the temperatures that we're feeling right now on Saturday. That is whenever we're going to be hit with the most amount of showers, and then going into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to see those showers still looming on the colder side. So we're definitely going to be wanting to see you have that rain jacket out there for the next week. Let's take it back to Reese.
Thanks, Isabel. It's World Mental Health Day, and 1 in 6 U.S. youth between the ages of 6 and 17 experience a mental health disorder every year, according to the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And the organization says half of all lifetime mental illness begins at age 14. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on how parents and caretakers can help promote mental health and well-being.
It's a growing problem, a mental health crisis in the U.S., and young people aren't immune.
For children, we really should be paying attention, not just when there's a concern or a crisis, but ahead of time.
Pediatric psychologist Ariana Howitt is the executive clinical director of On Our Sleeves, a nationwide children's hospital initiative aimed at promoting children's mental health and wellness. She says that starts with caregivers having open-ended conversations with the child.
At dinner time, we check in with each other and we say, what was the hardest part of your day? What was your favorite part of your day? Tell me about your favorite teacher.
Howitt says parents should normalize how their child feels and model good mental health habits.
Talk about your hard days, talk about your hard emotions and what you're doing to cope with those.
Social connections are critical, so Howitt says encouraging kids to have healthy friendships and join in extracurricular activities can also promote mental wellness.
If a child feels like they're included and they're connected and they're a part of their community, their schools, their home environment, that they are more likely to be mentally well or handle stress better.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
There's more information on promoting mental health, including conversation starters that parents and caregivers can have with children at onoursleeves.org.
Coming up in sports, Nelsonville York takes on the Spartans in a TVC Ohio matchup. That story's still ahead. And for the latest on Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Join us for a special evening of music as we present Japanese composer and artist Yoshiki live at Carnegie Hall with the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra, composer, classically trained pianist, and founder of the chart-topping rock group X Japan. Yoshiki goes classical in his Carnegie Hall debut as he performs for a sold-out audience. Yoshiki live at Carnegie Hall.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
This is for you.
You got grit, I can tell you never gonna quit. No, not even for a split second. Counting all your blessings. You got personality like Christmas got his presents, and I like it. Yeah.
I always want to create something that's gonna mean something.
That's fabulous. And I like it. Yeah.
Dare me to do something.
Don't stop, honey, gotta do your thing. I like it. Don't stop, honey, gotta do your thing.
I really want to show the world how beautiful our culture is.
There was more similarities than differences. It makes us happy. It makes us feel good.
Yeah. So spread those golden wings, we're gonna shine like the stars. Got the
It is part of our unique story, all of us together.
This is our special time.
I like it.
Salute, babe.
Honey, gotta do your thing.
We're going intergalactic.
Don't stop, honey.
We're gonna make memories.
I like it.
I just said, hey, I want to do what I've been doing in my life and record it.
We were always those creative minds that were just in the moment.
It all finds its way into his music.
Who he is as a person is what allows him to be where he is as a musician.
And I felt like Black radio was the truth.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome back. I'm Peyton Brooker. And in volleyball tonight, Nelsonville York Buckeyes travel to Albany in the TVC Ohio title on the line. The Buckeyes have been dominant all season. If they win against Alexander, the TVC Ohio Conference title is theirs alone. The second-place Spartans, who are hoping to get an upset with the win on their senior night, they're coming off a 3-1 set win over the Athens Bulldogs. Nelsonville York so far has not lost a conference game and is currently 18-2 for the season. Their only losses are against Warren and Logan. Spartans head coach Jamie Lutt says her team is very young on the court, even though she has 3 lone seniors on the court.
We're young. We're young on the court. We have 3 seniors that play all the time, but outside those 3 seniors, we're like junior, sophomore, freshman. So it's exciting.
As for the game itself, the stats for both the Spartans and the Buckeyes tell the story of their seasons. Some key stats to note are the combined kills of the Buckeyes' Chloe Lehman and Kylie Warren, who have tallied the 532 kills so far. Megan Booth has been the assist leader this season with 686 assists, ranking 11th in the state. As for the Spartans, Lexi Grinstead leads her team in 372 kills. First serve of this TVC Ohio matchup begins 7 o'clock tonight in Albany. Over in the Plains, the Athens Bulldogs are also hosting their senior night against Vinton County. Last night, the Bulldogs swept the Eastern Eagles, recovering from their 3-game losing streak. The Bulldogs are led by lone senior Ava Williams, who currently leads the team in kills with 134. For the Bulldogs' schedule itself, tonight's game against the Vikings will be their last home game of the regular season. On Thursday, Athens goes on the road to take on Nelsonville York in both their final games before the playoffs begin. However, they will stick around in Athens for the playoffs. Seated 11th in the bracket, the Bulldogs will also host the sectional semifinals matchup against the New Lexington Panthers, who only, as of now, have 4 prior losses. First set is set for October 16th at 7 p.m. And finally, Ohio Golf finished their tournament in Toledo today. The 3-round, 2-day tournament in Catawba Island Club in Toledo saw the Bobcats finishing 3rd as a team, shooting a score of 949. On an individual note, Bobcat senior Marina Vega Rivera finished 4th in shooting, scoring a total score of 232 in her 3 rounds. And freshman Morgan Rogers also placed in the top 10, tying 9th with a total overall score of 235. Ohio Golf will resume play next February in a tournament in Palm City, Florida. That's it for me. Back to you, Reese.
Thanks, Peyton. Coming up after the break, a look at the Cincinnati Bengals' biggest and eldest fan.
I don't understand why you've come back.
To make us a fortune.
Welcome!
Mommy, this is Victor.
My fiancé.
Oh, he's got himself embroiled with a gangster.
I have to follow my heart. I can't go back to how it was before.
Stay away from my wife.
Can I trust you?
I could ask you the same thing.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
Remember? First impressions.
This just is the beginning to a change in fortunes.
I'm awake. I feel like I've opened my eyes. The world is changing.
I think we should take it to the next level.
I thought that was rather jolly. So much fun.
You make a good team. And what will you tell the child when they ask where their dad is?
There's a wall. I'll tell them you're dead.
If we can find him, we'll get him.
I'm here to make sure justice gets done.
I really love you more than anything.
It's really loud.
Shall we?
Fortune favors the bold.
It feels more like the start of something than the end.
On Masterpiece.
Welcome to the British Indian Army.
Welcome to hell, sir. I have no choice but to fight for my country.
Your enemy now looks like your friend.
How do you know who to trust? What if I were to recruit you to work for me?
To do what?
To fight, of course.
There will be casualties as a result of the decisions you make. Come on!
World on Fire on Masterpiece. Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
Finally tonight, the Bengals have a fan who just turned 100 years old. Gordon Hare recently celebrated his birthday, and his only wish was for the Bengals to get a win. Hare is a World War II veteran who saw combat 80 years ago and has the medals to prove it. He hopes to meet the players someday and has a jersey ready for them to sign. Wow, well, that's a loyal fan if I've ever heard of one.
I wish I was a fan like that. My team ain't really that good right now, but of course they're going to have probably a good season this year.
Well, that's awesome to hear. But, I mean, the Browns fan base, they're also pretty loyal too, so that's a tough one to beat. But for people going to games this week, what's the weather going to look like, Isabel?
Definitely going to be on the chillier side, but then it's going to warm up again. Tonight we're going to see that overnight low of 34 with those mostly clear skies. That's just giving us a great kind of ground to build some frost. We have that frost advisory that now is spread throughout West Virginia and now most of the parts of Ohio. So if you have any plants out there, bring them inside. It's going to be a frosty morning out there. It's definitely going to be affecting any kind of morning travel. If you're traveling between like 7 and 8, once we get past there, once that sun comes up, that frost is just going to go away for a little bit of a warmer tomorrow with that high of 67 in those partly sunny skies out there. That temperature low of 44. Looking at that 3-day outlook, Thursday is going to be our warmest day of the week. Looking up, it's going to be mostly sunny. We're going to have those beautiful conditions, and then it's just going to bring in some rain for us. Looking in that 7-day, you can see that rain, once it starts, it's just going to keep on going throughout the week. And once that rain starts, it's also going to be bring us some cooler temperatures. We're going to be having a little bit of a warm up first, and then once we hit Saturday, Sunday, we're looking at those 60-degree temperatures, and even Monday and Tuesday, we're looking in those high 50s. It's definitely going to be a little bit of a cooler week and on the rainier side. Now let's take it back to us.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I cannot handle much of this chilly weather much longer. It just went from summer to winter, and there's no in between. I'm ready for fall.
I noticed I've been putting on my jacket and then taking it off like in the afternoon, and it's hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I just want, to put on a good jacket, have the fall weather. That's kind of like where my wardrobe is kind of like caters to. But that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Peyton Brooker and Isabel Isco, I'm Reese Thompson.
And I'm Silver Barker. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or have a good night.
Support for a PBS NewsHour is proudly provided by Luke S. Frazier. Support comes from Visit Athens County. More information can be found at AthensOhio.com. Athens, it's more than a place.